They are two of the PBA's best-known champions, the Iceman, Jesper Svensson, and the #1 player in the world, EJ Tackett. Today, they're on a collision course here in the semifinals of the PBA Playoffs. Who will advance to the championship? Find out next on FS1. And welcome inside Strobel Arena at Thunderbowl Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. It is time for the 2025 PBA Playoffs semifinals. The four survivors, the #1 seed, #1 player in the world, EJ Tackett taking on lefty Graham Fach. And the two-handed battle between Jesper Svensson and Chris Via, lefty versus righty, will follow. Hello again, everybody, with multiple Hall of Famer Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler. I'm Dave Lamont. Let that all soak in, as it should. All right. So lefty-righty, once again, it's going to be an interesting matchup. EJ Tackett, of course, trying to just add one more banner to this incredible resume that he has, too. This is one event he hasn't won yet, but he's also never gotten this far either.
Yeah, both matchups featuring a left-hander and a right-hander. But I think it's kind of impressive that there's two lefties still standing. If you look at just the numbers, combined scores for the left-handers are averaging just 200. The right-handers, EJ Tackett, Chris Via, 222. But the lefties have found a way to grind their way to the semis.
And there was definitely some grinding as far as just getting to these semifinals as we show you our Bull TV highlights. Because once again, we win in the roll-offs.
Starting with Anthony Simonson and EJ Tackett, their matchup was pretty awesome. And Simonson grabs game one, 236-11. Game two, all Tackett throwing the last 7 for 258. And then the roll-off. Tackett would eventually win that 48-38. Our next matchup was Kyle Troop and Graham Fach. Troop winning the opener, 226-210. And then game two, 205-206. Fach wins that. And then the disastrous 10th frame of the roll-off for Troop. All Fach needed was a mark, and that's the best kind right there.
So that's our winners, and they are standing by with Kimberly.
Thanks, Dave. So, Graham, congratulations on making it to the round of 4 for the first time in your career. Now, to get here, you've already beaten Kyle Troop, and he's won this event twice. And now you get to take on this guy, who is going for his 3rd consecutive Player of the Year. So, do you feel a little bit like an underdog?
I feel like anyone bowling EJ ever is an underdog. That being said, you know, it's 2 games, it's 20 frames. I'm certainly capable of throwing 20 good ones, so I hope to give him a good match.
Good luck to you tonight.
Thank you.
And EJ, congratulations for your first time making it to the semifinals as well. Now that you are one step closer to possibly winning the playoffs for the first time in your career, are you feeling any additional pressure?
No, it's you know, the same as yesterday. Go out there and win my match and move on to the next one. Obviously, I've got a tough opponent again today. He's here for a reason. Graham's, you know, one of the best on the planet, so I'm going to have to go out there and bowl really well to be able to beat him today, and hopefully I can do that and get into the finals.
Good luck to you today as well.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, thank you so much. We're ready to roll here, and it is the race to 2. So winner game 1 gets the first point, winner game 2 gets the second point. If we have a sweep, then we're moving on. If we don't, and lately we have not, if we're tied after 2 games, we'll have a 9th and 10th frame roll-off, as we showed you at the top of the show. Graham from Urbana, Ohio. 2 titles, 1 major. And the semis begin with a split.
Well, if you're going to do it early, right? We talk about it a lot, opening the game with the 3-7. Let's see if Graham can cut that 3-pin over into that 7.
A little bit too much of the 3, so an open frame in the opening frame for Graham Fach. EJ Tackett out of Indiana, 27 titles, and is widely expected to join Mark Roth as a 4-time Chris Schenkel PBA Player of the Year. And that's how you do it.
Last time we saw EJ, he really liked this right lane, the longer of the two patterns.
Yeah, and that's interesting. You say two patterns. If this is maybe somebody joining us for the first time in the PBA playoffs, we'll get into the details of that in a moment, but it has been a bedeviling set of lanes. It seems like, Randy, no matter who the player is, there's one lane that's been giving him trouble. As a matter of fact, we're not going to mess around here. Let's take a look at today's oil pattern, powered by Kegel.
Hardwick 44 on the right, and the bat pattern 37 on the left. The longer pattern, players will play more towards the center part of the lane and feed it to the track area. The bat pattern, we see the right-handers using urethane, and the left-handers doing that as well, playing a little bit farther out. That is a Rhino purple black.
And a 6-pin on top of all of that for Graham. Graham, the number 4 seed.
Just a pinch high, leaving the 6. He's using a black pearl urethane hammer on the left lane. I'll get back to EJ's arsenal here in a second.
Go back to January, and right at the top of the season at Mid-County Lanes and Entertainment in Middletown, Delaware. Graham Fach was the 3rd seed there and knocked off Jacob Buttroff in an all-lefty final by 77 pins to win his 2nd career title and his first in 3,261 days, not that we're counting.
Yeah, that Rhino he's using on the right lane is a solid reactive. This is urethane, a lot of surface.
Much better. Yeah, there we go.
All right, EJ Tackett back up on the right lane. He is using a Sub-Zero Forge. And on the left lane, he's using a Rampage Tank Pearl. And again, that ball he's using on the shorter pattern, it's not really urethane. It's more of like a, what do they call it, like a microcell polymer.
It's very scientific. It sounds like something out of the $6 Million Man or Wonder Woman.
Good start.
Take a look at the tail of the tape, and EJ Tackett led the nation in strike percentage and strike after strike percentage, and also has an advantage over Graham in clean frame percentage. By the way, it's not like Graham's numbers are bad, because they're great, but EJ's are just off the charts.
Man. When you get it back from that number there, that's a good sign for Tackett.
Well, if you remember listening to him last week talking about, he feel like he threw some good shots and just didn't get breaks.
Well, he had a good matchup going up against Simonson, with Simon winning that first game, and EJ only mustering 211, and then really got lined up, finished big late, 258 to send it to a roll-off. Oh, man.
Ringer on the 7.
Well, we saw him do that a lot in his match with Kyle Troop. In the first game alone, he had 7 9-counts.
Oh, wait a minute. Didn't he have some obscene double-digit number of 9 pins, and he nailed every single one of them over the 2 games plus the roll-off?
So that was game 2. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 9-counts. Game 2, game 1 against Troop. He starts 4 consecutive 9 spares. He got 9 a lot. Never missed a spare.
And he knows this building well, too. That's where the USBC Masters was held March 29th. It was, at the time, a rather left-handed friendly opportunity, but it's been a little tricky for lefties so far. Well, if any of the pros on today's show bowl a perfect game, and EJ's off to a pretty good start, everyone in America can receive a free game of bowling courtesy of Go Bowling. To register, visit gobowling.com and sign up for the Go Bowling Free America promotion. Maybe next game. And the words "uh-oh" was all you needed to know.
And we've been looking at that break point on the right lane for the right-handers throughout this competition, and it's tough to get it back anywhere right of about 4.8, 5.
So a big moment in this match, perhaps, in this opening game. But winning the first game has not always led to success either. So it did in the first 2 matches a couple of weeks back. But seems like the game 2 winner then has that advantage going into the roll-off and wins. Just the second meeting between these two in a nationally televised affair. And that's how you come back after a bad frame. EJ Tackett still has the edge in max score. Graham Fach down by 25 pins. But the steady lefty from Canada showed that he didn't panic a week ago against Kyle Troop. But EJ Tackett can make anybody panic. The PBA on FS1 is sponsored by Go Bowling. For friends and family fun, log on to gobowling.com to find a center near you. So Graham Fach stepping back up here in the top of the 6th against EJ Tackett. Race to 2. And here's the details on that. So it's really very uncomplicated. You get 1 point by winning the first game. Then another point by winning the second game. If you grab both points, that's it.
Sorry, I see something.
The match is over. If they tie, we go to a 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
I can use a timeout, Tony. That's fine.
So something got in Graham's vision. It may have been a bug. It didn't bug him. And that is a double for Graham.
This looked like it was a little more up the lane, about 13-9 on that shot, and it holds its line beautifully. And now with one more, he can cut the deficit to just 5. It wasn't that long ago he was down by 41. Oh, no way.
Today?
Part of the reason why the scoring pace for the Southpaws has been on the low side is stuff like that. Just bad carry.
Well, it's been a few years. We're due.
Last time it was made was by a lefty. In fact, 3 out of the 4 are left-handed. Bounce it.
Only Mr. Roth, who was the first. Threw it from the right side.
Mazza, Stayrook, and the Ginger Assassin, all Southpaws. I bet if you didn't know that stat, you'd never believe that. It's like, all right, so I know you like to watch bowling. The 7-10 split's only been converted 4 times. How many times do you think a left-hander's done it? And they'd probably say, well, I don't know, once. Only because there's more right-handers.
Exactly. The math adds up. Well, the math doesn't add up, I guess. But you can avoid 7-10 splits when you throw it like EJ just did.
Again, watch the break point down lane, about 5.5, 5.6. That's perfect territory for him to get the ball to walk to the pocket. And just like that, the lead could have been cut to 5. The pocket 7-10 put an end to that. And now the lead for EJ Tackett back up to 39.
Tackett hasn't shot a spare yet. He's got 6 strikes and an open frame off an 8-10 split. Another strike. Paralyzed the 5. Dunked on the 7.
8-5 is pretty straight through the front part of the lane. You have to do that with the urethane ball. Well, okay, it's not urethane, microcell polymer, but the ball reaction is very similar to urethane.
4-pin with a big assist there.
To have any chance in game 1, he has to strike here.
Thank you, Jesper.
I don't know what thank you, Jesper, meant. He got one heck of a break on the messenger. In fact, you could say he wiped that deck clean, as presented by Dude Wipes.
He just channeled his inner Jesper with this flying messenger.
Wow, head pin just bruised.
Yeah, that 7-pin needs a Dude Wipe or two to clean up.
Nice kick saving a beauty on the 7.
Wow, what could have been for one pocket 7-10, right?
Agreed. You just have to try to build a little bit of good feeling about your game going into the next game and try to earn the 2nd point. Instead of letting Tackett get it, because if EJ gets 2, that's it. He looks to be completely in control of his game.
Needs just 5 after that hit.
Five times 2 is what he gets. But he is just dialed in at the moment.
A couple boards inside of the break point down lane.
And what they're looking at occasionally, if you're wondering why the players sometimes look to their right, they have the access to the same stuff that you all do, the analysis and all that. So he's just getting some of that intel, looking at, okay, Randy and I are in agreement. These were good shots. Not that one, though, but that's okay.
That one hooked early on him. So.
No, I moved right, Randy. Just testing.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, CJ. So he moved right, testing to make sure that there's dirt to the right, and there is.
Now, when you say dirt to the right, what does that mean?
Friction.
Okay.
And that's what a strike ball will look like next game.
Very calm demeanor from a man who just bowled a 250. Now, Graham Fach will try to see if he can unlock some success in this 10th frame and build up a little bit of mojo for the 2nd game.
Big tug. Try to find something heading into game 2.
Suggestions? Equipment? Movement?
Well, I'm looking at his game, the errant shot in the 1st, and that one in the 10th. Really, it was only 2 bad shots.
Yeah, the open frame in the 7th was a pocket 7-10.
I mean, we're a long way away from the lanes where our broadcast booth is. EJ could hear me?
I think he knew you were saying something. He knew what you were thinking.
Oh.
He couldn't hear you.
He couldn't hear me, but
He sensed it.
wow.
You guys have known each other a while now. You know, he just has that sense of when you're saying something.
Interesting.
Yeah. EJ Tackett has one half of that race to 2 nailed down. But if you've been watching the 2025 PBA playoffs, that doesn't always mean very much. Let's see what happens with the second point. Okay, let's go back to March 22nd, the 2025 PBA World Championships at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno. Yes, 3 in a row, EJ Tackett needed a double in the 10th to defeat Jason Belmonte and win his 3rd straight PBA World Championship for his 27th career title and 7th major, his 4th title of 2025. And he had 2 titles at that World Series. Here he is, looking to get off the first good step. Game 2. Well, we've seen him mix that up before for a strike. Instead, he'll have just 1 to shoot at.
Dang it.
Safe start for Tackett in the opening frame. Again, this is a must-win for Graham Fach, or he's knocked out. And EJ will go on to the finals against either Chris Via or Jesper Svensson. And that match will be following this one. Right through the face. So 2-4-7 for Fach.
Through the nose again, back-to-back shots on that right lane for Graham. Question is, what's he going to do? See if we can't check in with Tour rep Mike Wolf.
Oh, got a piece of that.
All right, let's get out on the floor and talk with PBA champion Brunswick Tour rep Mike Wolf. Mike, what adjustments does Graham need to make to get back in this?
Well, on the left lane, we got to get it to the dry a little bit steeper, a little bit sooner to get it through the pins a little bit better. He's pretty well lined up on the right lane, so that was kind of a bad shot in the first, but I think he'll be all right on the right lane.
Thanks, Mike.
Went a long way and just buried a 10 into the pit. So first strike of game number 2.
Good one here. Just like Mike Wolf drew up, get it there a little bit quicker so it gets to the pocket with a little more punch.
And the pocket 7-10 is crushed by a messenger taking out the 10 pin.
There was stuff flying everywhere.
Except at the 7th.
About 26 miles an hour at this pair.
See the results for game number 1. But as we've seen so many times, the bowler who gets game 1 loses the second game and then is beaten in the roll-off. It's become a habit here. Ooh, that didn't sound good. Never mind what it looked like. And he's looking at the same thing that you all are.
Okay.
I think he likes this one, and it just breaks loose and goes right through the face. 4-7-10. So now I'm wondering, okay, well, he moved right when he said he did, and the ball hooked. So he knows there's friction there. Moves back to the left a bit. Throws that shot there, which looked like he actually liked it, and it overhooked. So he's going to keep bumping it in and probably make parallel moves left the next time up on the left lane.
Wow, looking for a double. Build up a decent early advantage. Well, that's just weird.
That's another crappy break.
All right.
Yeah, that's more like a 5.5 10 than a 5-10.
Trying to slide it. Nice.
Beautiful. Wow.
Great job.
Okay.
Grinding away, hanging in there.
Well, you called it, Pards. That was a clean wipe presented by Dude Wipes. And this was pretty filthy, too. They got cleaned up nicely.
To make that, the players, they just try to go a little bit more half pocket with a strike ball. And that's how you're able to cover that. That time it got there too early.
You go online and go.
It got to that spot too early.
It's been happening to lefties throughout the 2025 PBA playoffs here at Strobel Arena. They have had a tough time scoring. And so EJ Tackett didn't really pay for that bad frame.
And 2025.
Yeah.
Go ahead and pencil that in.
Yeah. Now he's lost his mojo.
I think he turned that one early.
Got a 250 in the first game.
Typically when you miss left, the hand goes around early, elbow goes with it. 80% of the time on 3-6-10. And you know how I know that?
I do know how you know it.
Yeah, our good friends at Lane Talk.
Commit to this one.
For more information, head on over to lanetalk.com, download the free app.
Good.
And he's right. He is right. It is pretty good.
Yeah, he chased that one in. Ball held inside perfect. Like one or two left with his feet.
Well, you talked about shifting left.
Yeah, he can continue to chase that, keeping his angle really closed off and real straight in front of him.
Messenger takes it out the 7. And
Wow.
a big one for Graham.
Wow, how lucky.
Finally.
That was sarcastic.
Oh, I know.
But that was sarcasm I was trying to throw your way.
Oh, I caught it.
Okay. All right, see if you can put two together and increase the lead to 11.
And that is a quiet 7-pin for Graham.
Well, he moved in a pinch, created a little bit more angle, and then the flat 7 or the urethane 7.
Well, Graham's had a lot of experience shooting at single pins. That's what helped him get here. However, against EJ Tackett, that may not be enough to stay in these 2025 PBA playoffs. The conclusion, game number 2 is next. So EJ Tackett, incredibly, that was his first strike of this second game. He has the 1-point-to-none advantage. If he gets this game, he'll move on into the finals against either Chris Via or Jesper Svensson. If Fa gets the point, then we will go to a 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
It's pretty good.
And it is a double for EJ Tackett.
A better shot for EJ on the right lane, doubling up. Now the lead is his.
Come on, buddy.
Tremendous ball roll, revolutions, and that all equals pin carry.
He's got that wave to the audience down, too. He's had to do it a lot.
Pageant wave.
Well, you know what? He is the pageant king right now in 2025, then 24, then 23.
Looking over at his numbers. And just like that, Fa down 19.
An all-lefty PBA Players Championship final. Good mixer for Fa. Well, he struck the last 2 times on the right lane. Has not struck on the left lane since the second frame.
That got it.
Oh, it did not get it.
Yeah, I did what you wanted.
It got the drive really early and just boomeranged off of it.
Let's see if he can pull this off. No, wide to the wrong side.
Wow. And just like that, with one shot in the 8th frame, this match is all but over.
Yep, EJ Tackett looks like he is about to step into the finals. Come on. He had not ever done any better than a round of 8 in this PBA playoff since its inception. And he's crushing that. Well, everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but his are the only ones that matter. Colin Cowherd is the most interesting man in sports. Don't miss the herd. Weekdays at noon Eastern only on FS1.
Come on.
And hold on.
Come on.
You've seen a few of these. Almost, it seems like just about every bowler in the playoffs has been burned with a pocket 710 or 2.
A little bit worse or a little bit better. It'd have been fine.
See if EJ can add his name to that list.
I've seen him make it before in person, but not in this environment.
Bounce.
Graham Fach strikes out. EJ Tackett would need a mark.
There's the first hit for Fach in the ninth.
Number 4 on the points list this season. A great year, probably Graham's best year.
Yeah, he jumped from 14th on the points list in 2024 to 4th this year.
Two more just like it to have any chance.
Also owns 15 PBA regional titles. Father of 2. Oh, a nice little drop on the 5-pin. And we might have a little 10th frame intrigue.
Go back to that shot in the 8th frame. Put a strike there. Graham would win game 2. Big shot. 9, we have a tie for Tackett. Any mark will do.
4-bagger finish for Graham.
Just one good one. Good shot.
You're right, sir. And you're moving on, EJ Tackett, into the 2025 PBA Playoff Finals. Finish strong with long drink. And this is a finish strong. Nothing left behind. Finish strong with long drink, sparkling refreshment, real liquor. Please enjoy responsibly. So the run of roll-offs has come to an end. A couple of weeks ago, the first 2 games, boom, boom, 2-0, 2-0.
Yeah.
And since then, we had nothing but roll-offs. But EJ Tackett has made the finals. Who will he face next? Jesper Svensson or Chris Via? That'll be, of course, Saturday at 2:30 Eastern on Fox. And the winner standing by with Kimberly.
EJ, I saw you over there celebrating with your fans because that was a roller coaster of a match. Walk us through it.
Yeah, the first game was pretty good. I felt pretty locked in. Obviously threw a bunch of strikes, but the second game went through a little bit of transition, had to move around a little bit on the lane, and pesky left lane 7-10s. Graham and I both left one over there. It's been, I've left a couple in that lane the last couple days doing this, but that was a lot harder than it should have been, it felt like.
Well, as you head into the finals for the first time, what do you take away from your performance today?
Just kind of staying even keel, and when things weren't going so great, I was able to compose myself and make some good adjustments, and then make some really good shots after that, and was able to come out victorious today, and one more match.
Congratulations on advancing, and I think you have a award to sign.
Yep, put your autograph on there, EJ, and right there in the finals position. But that bracket still needs to be completely filled out, and it's going to be either the Iceman, Jesper Svensson, boy, has he been interesting to watch, and Chris Via, steady from the right-hand side. That match is coming up next. Registration for the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships is now open to bowlers of all skill levels. The PBA LBC National Championships is returning to the Chicago area and includes a division for everyone. You can compete in singles as well as optional doubles and team events. Even combine your scores with the pros. Enter today at PBA.com. And in this edition of Kimberly Pressler's Pressing Questions presented by Go Bowling, this is a ticklish one for our PBA pros.
Chris, who is your favorite bowler out on tour right now? And it could be for any reason.
Well, it's my son. So, Ryan, and it's mostly because I've been making plans for the retirement home he's going to send me to, and I want it to be nice.
Favorite person out on tour?
It's because they buy you meals, or it's because they're a great bowler.
Well, it's definitely not Dad. He makes me pay for the hotels.
Stu Williams, he's the travel agent, books all the rooms, gets me from A to B. Yeah, it'll be Stu.
You're mine.
Oh, thanks. I mean, blush.
Stu, who is your favorite bowler out on tour right now? Could be for any reason. Do you have one?
No, I don't like anybody.
My favorite bowler on tour? It's got to be one of my best friends, Sean Maldonado. He just cracks me up. I enjoy watching him bowl, and I really enjoy all the help I get from him. So he's definitely my favorite bowler.
Tom Doherty. We get to stay at his buddy's Trevor house, which is now my buddy. And he has a downstairs game room, basement that we spend hours and hours in. So,
This might come as a shocker, but Tom said you're his favorite on tour as well.
what was his reason?
He had a long list, but it was pretty much because you're a great guy.
Mine's a short list.
My favorite person is Packy Hanrahan. It's probably Packy.
He's positive energy, good person.
Yeah, he's just so fun to be around, and he's always very lighthearted. It makes me feel nice and warm and fuzzy on the inside. I like to bring a good vibe, so it's nice that people pick me for once.
All right, Kimberly, thank you very much. All right, we've got another match coming up here to find out who's going to take on EJ Tackett for the championship or for the PBA playoff title. We've got the lefty, Jesper Svensson. Every match has been just a fist fight to the end.
Yep.
And Chris Via, who's been so steady and so calm. This is really an interesting battle between righty versus lefty.
We'll start with last week's highlights of Jesper Svensson in the matchup against Andrew Anderson. Game one, Svensson by just a small margin, 9 pins. Game two, well, that would go to Andrew Anderson, 213, 192, and then the roll-off. It was all Svensson. And then Chris Via taking on Jason Belmonte. Via wins game one, 217, 199, and then game two, not even close. Via wins it in a sweeper, 226, 175.
Yeah, Jason could never quite figure out that particular pair of lanes on that particular day. But Chris Via came off the deck and just realized he's won 4 straight games now, has Via, after losing the opening game to Ryan Barnes. And every time Jesper bowls, there's high drama because it seems like he gets every rotten break there is in the world, Randy.
Yeah, the average for the left-handers after our last matchup didn't go up any as Graham failed to break the 200 mark. But, in talking with Jesper prior to today's telecast, I said, Jesper, what's the difference maker for you today? He said, doing something different on the right lane.
He's complained about not being comfortable. We'll see if he can get comfortable when we return. Well, the PBA is proud to have Bowlers to Veterans Link as the official charity of the PBA Tour. In today's BBL Salute to Veterans, we welcome U.S. Army E4 Harry Sullins, who served for 6 years. Harry, thank you for your service. Donate. Go to bbl.org.
That's not just Harry.
Oh, yeah.
That's the legend.
Yes, it is. 5-time national titleist, won a world title, 3 titles on the PBA 50 Tour.
I bowled against him, with him for years on tour. The ledge.
The mainstay in this area. Well, standing by with Kimberly, Chris, and Jesper.
Thanks, Dave. So Jesper, the past 2 weeks, you have said that you struggled to get comfortable on this pair, and yet you found a way to push through and you got here today. So I do have to ask you, though, are you a little bit surprised that you have an average of under 200 and you were here right now?
Yes, I do. It could just be a repeat of what we talked about last week, but I feel like I have a good one coming today. So I'm ready.
Good luck to you today.
Thank you.
And Chris, your past two opponents have been right-handers. Today you're going up against a lefty. What is going to be the best strategy to take him out?
Just staying within my game. I feel like I've executed well over the past couple weeks, so if I can just keep building, keep stacking good shots on top of one another, then I think I'm going to give myself a good chance.
And good luck to you today.
Thank you.
All right, Jesper and Chris, thank you for your time. Kimberly, thank you, of course. All right, bold race to two, I should say. And Chris is the higher seed. This is 6 versus 7. Winner of game 1 earns a point. Winner of game 2 earns 1 point. If you do what Chris did yesterday and take both the 2 points, pack up your bag and go. You are moving on. And in this case, you'll take on EJ Tackett. The winner of this will take on the top player in the world. Well, a bucket to get things started for Chris.
Pretty close to where EJ was playing that left lane. The bucket. It's pesky. Easy.
Nope.
Yeah. Got it offline. Never had a chance.
You could hear him right away say, nope, didn't like it, and didn't have a reason to. Well, what's it going to be here, Randy? Pocket 7-10, solid 9, ringing 7. All this stuff that's happened to Jesper, and he's still in the semifinals.
He's still swinging.
Yep, it's amazing.
Jeez.
We shouldn't laugh.
Why?
But we can't help it.
How are you able to? Oh my goodness. That's kind of scary. You said all that, and then he goes solid 9. I thought you were just kidding.
No. You've been here right here the whole time.
Wow.
You've seen every one of these breaks that he has that have not gone his way. But he at least has a clean first frame. Take a look at the tail of the tape between these two for the 2025 season. Jesper with a slight edge in strike after strike percentage. Clean frame. I mean, that's about as narrow as you can get. Same thing for strike percentage between these two. There we go.
Urethane on both lanes for Jesper. Attention star S2 for Chris on the right lane. IQ Tour 78U on the left. Remember, longer pattern on the right, shorter pattern on the left.
Oh, there we go. There's a 9-pin. Reluctant, but down it goes.
Pretty much the same ball combo he's been using throughout.
All right, well.
The ball actually didn't hit the 9-pin. It went by the 9-pin. Another pin hit the 9-pin. I think it was a 3-pin.
Stack good shots.
That messenger fails.
All right.
Well, a bucket and then the urethane 10 on the left lane. If the match stays close, he'll stay in the urethane. If the match gets out of hand, look for Chris to start looking at different pieces of equipment for that lane.
Two good shots.
Again, if you can hear Chris, one thing we commented on a week ago is his demeanor. And he's talking to himself and always a positive message for himself. So listen into that from when you get the opportunity. You take a look at Jesper's arsenal.
Yeah, IQ Tour 78U, both lanes for Jesper.
There we go. A double for Svensson.
Looks like two different IQs for Jesper.
Yeah, he did that last week, too.
Yeah. And the 7 barely went. Winner at Tournament of Champions not too long ago.
He dominated that tournament, too.
Yep.
Slightly off, leaving just the 7 pin to shoot at. Both of Jesper's matches have gone to roll-offs against Jacob Buttriff and Andrew Anderson.
The highest game throughout the playoffs by a southpaw. Graham Faw, 210. Look out.
Oh my, that got away from him, and he caught a huge break right there.
Big miss in.
I'll take advantage of it. Trust it over there, dude. Come on.
Yeah, we talk about that miss from in. It's typically when the players don't feel like they can miss the out.
Chris, the third player to bowl multiple televised 300 games. He bowled the 30th and 32nd televised 300 games in PBA history. And he was the first to do it in the same season.
Yeah. Good shot.
Way to take advantage.
Job.
See? He even said it. Jesper using two different IQs. The one on this right lane, a stronger layout with more surface. Makes sense because that pattern's slicker, it's longer.
Broke up the bucket, ended up with just half of it. 5-9 for Svensson.
That 3-pin trip in there makes this a whole lot easier.
Covered up nicely, and look how close the max scores are as we approach frame number 6. Jesper looking for his first strike since the 3rd by working a double. Oh, good night and good luck. Jesper Svensson wipes out the rack in the 6th frame. Chris Via trails by 9 pins in this all two-handed battle. Right now you need your best concentration and your best shots to get into that championship PBA playoffs on Saturday. was a very special Easter Sunday for Jesper Svensson. We talked about how he dominated the PBA Tournament of Champions, powered by 1800 Tequila at AMF Riviera in Fairlawn, Ohio. Defeated Jacob Buttriff to grab his second Tournament of Champions, his 13th career PBA title and second career major. Jesper coming off a strike in the 6th.
All right, let's go down to the floor and talk with Storm Tour rep Rob Gotzel. Rob, you're repping for not one but two guys in this match. How difficult is that?
Yeah, I mean, in this match, it's a little easier because they're each on different sides of the lane. So you're not, they're not really sharing the same information. Obviously, both are playing them a little different. Chris with resin on the long, Jesper's using urethane on both. But, a little strategy on how each of them broke down lanes down in their practice. But, yeah, I mean, it's not too difficult with them being right and left-handed.
Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
And rest assured that Rob doesn't have a bet on either player. So he's giving equal information to both guys.
He is Switzerland. Neutral.
Shot.
All right, come on.
That might be Chris's biggest hit so far.
And a much better shot than the last time up on that lane when he crossed over and went, well, it was pretty much a nosediver. And now all of a sudden it's 3 in a row. So he followed it up with 2 really nice hits and now takes the lead by 1.
3-bagger for Vi. Yes. Oh, no.
That's all right. Not a very good one.
Runaway messenger right in front of the 10.
He's handling that better than I am right
now. Wow. Watch this. That head pin got slung across the deck.
Clean pickup. Now the max score shifting in favor of Svensson.
Very good.
It's a hair right of target, but certainly got to a spot where it could have struck easily. Now all even. Svensson with 2 strikes in the 7th and 8th can take a 20-pin lead.
Wow, just a beautifully looking shot, beautifully executed shot, but wow, ringer.
So let's see, on that right lane for Jesper, started with a solid 9, then he struck, then he went light and left the 5-9 and then back. There it is, you can see it. That expression tells it all. A great shot, he was working on a strike. Cover it here and then look at your max scores.
Next weekend, the greatest spectacle in racing is coming to Fox. The 109th Indianapolis 500 next Sunday, May 25th, only on Fox.
See that layout, the ball he's using on the stronger lane, the shorter pattern, that pin up.
Get lucky.
I'm not sure he's the guy to be asking for things to get lucky, given the bad luck he's had, but he didn't get lucky there.
I think that's a good 9.
Because?
Because it was way inside, way right. And that's why he said get lucky.
And the result of that ball going through the nose is just the 6-pin. As you can see, a little concern from Jesper. Eyes got kind of wide there.
Big chance here for Vi.
Oh boy, that was in all the way.
He won't trust it over to the right. And that was his second good miss or big miss inside. This time he doesn't get away with it.
So I guess, Randy, the question I have for you, we have talked throughout these playoffs about guys trusting shots or not trusting shots. We hear them say, I have to trust it, but yet they don't trust it. What happens there? What causes that?
Well, hang on. Oh, yes! That's why. I had a feeling he was going to cut it over there, and he did. Wow.
Mom and Dad on their feet.
Tony,
Yes, this is the Pilgrims moment of the match. Chicken can be boring, but Pilgrims is turning chicken nuggets upside down like this match was just turned upside down. I love it. You love it. Put it in a nugget.
That could potentially be a $100,000 conversion. But to answer your question, Dave, the players know that they have to get it to a certain spot. They also know in the back of their mind if it's a little wide of that, it's going to wash out, or 2-4-8-10 for a right-hander. And so it's always that little question in the back of your mind, what if I get it too far? And that's
what happens.
That's what happens.
Okay.
It's a little overcompensation move. That was a good shot as well. So,
good shot.
All right, Dave, you got to get it to 8, right?
Good shot.
If you get it to 8, you're going to strike every time. If you get it to 9, we're going to punch you in the face. Or, I'm sorry, if you get it to 7, we're going to punch you in the face. Okay, so you're like, all right.
Got to get it to 8.
But you're not going to get it to 7, are you?
No.
Because you know that the results are not going to be good.
No.
If there was big mistake area outside, right? The players their swings would be so free and so loose, they'd get it there every time.
Good shot.
It's that slight apprehension that a player has knowing what the end result is if it's too wide of target.
So Jesper Svensson can lock out Vi in the 10th and the 9th, of course, and take that first point. Ooh, that was wide.
And just like that, the count now is all even if he converts the 3-5-6.
Sets us up for a huge 10th frame. Just a little over 71% of the time this is converted.
Cover.
All right. Well, Jesper cannot lock out Chris Via. But he can make him throw all 3. Let's see what happens. Because, you know, the Jesper Svensson matches have just been yuck fests full of comedy and laughter. They're just unbelievable. Every one of these games.
Seriously? Are you serious? Now, it was inside a target a bit. But I think it's fair to say that that wasn't a very good break.
Take a look at it one more time if you dare. Even just to make it worse, there's a pin, like it might have been the head pin or the 2, just sort of spinning around aimlessly.
if Jesper gets at least 8, he'll have his second 200 game of this event. Big shot here, the fill shot, though, because it really dictates what Vi has to do in the 10th. Vi would need to fill 20 to win by 1. Big shot. Vi must strike on the first ball to win, or to have an opportunity to win. So strikes Barry, he wins by 1. On a lane he's had trouble trusting, and trusting his ball to the right.
Looks pretty good. No, it got in. It got in. And it's going to be the first point to Jesper Svensson. I thought for a second already that was going to be just right in the pocket, but it did not make it there. And instead, Jesper Svensson gets the first point on the race to 2.
Thought that was pretty good. All right.
Well,
transition, he thought it was pretty good. We thought it was pretty good. The numbers look like it was pretty good, and it goes high.
This will be interesting.
He's throwing a strike ball there.
Yeah. Well, we talked quite a bit in this sport about trust. Right now, Chris Via's got to capture that trust, or Jesper Svensson will capture the other spot in the finals of the 2025 PBA Playoffs. It's time for the frame of the game presented by Beatbox. We go to the 10th. Jesper Svensson trying to put some heat on Chris Vi. Manages to do so. And Chris, we all kind of liked that shot in the beginning, but we sure hated it at the end. Jesper grabs the first point. That's our frame of the game presented by Beatbox, the original party punch. Beatbox, what's your flavor? Please enjoy responsibly. So, Jesper Svensson has the first point. If Vi wins this game, we will have a 9th and 10th frame roll-off. The winner of this will take on EJ Tackett Saturday at 2:30 on Fox. And that is an explosive strike for Jesper.
Jesper will finish this game on the right lane, Vi on the left.
That's all you can do.
Chris Vi, four strikes, game 1. Svensson, 4 strikes in game 1. In again,
Yes.
will not trust it to the right.
So when that happens, and it's happening now consistently, would a different equipment help? Just find a ball that maybe you'll trust?
I think you have to see it get to that spot so that your brain believes in what it is you're trying to do.
Okay.
I don't see how going to a different ball is going to get you to throw it better.
Got it.
Just get it over. You got to somehow talk yourself into getting it over there. And I'm telling you, sometimes it's not easy to do.
Well, it's clearly not. I mean, we're seeing it happen right now with one of the best bowlers on the planet.
You want to go back to the end of my career where I was locked up, where I didn't feel like I could miss left or right.
Right.
Now you try prying it off your hand when you have that. You know, obviously that dictates scoring pace as well, right? If I have room left or right, I'm going to hit the pocket a lot. If I don't, I'm not going to execute as well. I'm not going to hit the pocket as many times. But changing balls for Chris on that right lane, I don't see how that's going to help him.
Okay.
If he throws a good shot and gets it to that spot, it doesn't recover, then you go to a different ball.
Okay, gotcha. There's a good shot, and that's Chris Vi with a strike in the second frame.
Yeah, changing balls off of a poorly executed shot's not going to help.
Jesper got his career off to a fast start. 13 titles now in his career. And hey, he would have gotten that pin one way or the other. Either the little nick or the messenger that was coming over to help out. Messenger certainly would have gotten the job. And a double for Svensson in game number 2. Past 2015 Harry Golden PBA Rookie of the Year. And it's a 3-bagger.
All right, now Via back to the right lane. And Dave, I don't think that Chris has actually even looked at a different ball throughout this competition on that right lane. But now for the first time, I believe he is. Looks like an Origin EX.
Oh, give me a break. Oh, give him a break.
That's a good shot.
Seen this movie before. Change balls, make a little bit of an adjustment to try to start striking and throw a pretty good shot, and it's another open frame potentially.
And he's had one big conversion, but not going to get that one.
I mean, just keep fighting, keep making good shots.
Yep, that's what he's been doing throughout. Had a fairly easy go against Belmonte, especially in game 2, but his first match against Ryan Barnes, I don't think he struck for the first, what, 5 or 6 frames?
6 frames in the first game,
yeah.
But then he started steadily building up his arsenal, and when he came to the second game, when Ryan kind of ran into some trouble and he had some lane issues, Via just took over and won the roll-off. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
This one doesn't pick up at all. And now I'm wondering if he's running to the point where he needs to switch balls on that lane as well.
Yeah, he's in that uncomfortable zone that bowlers, even the best, get into. A little trouble in the line, but he's able to make the conversion. Jesper with the front 3.
That was good. I think you just got to go a couple more.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't think it was going to shake that much down the lane.
No. He did the right thing. He got to the spot, came off it. It wasn't as forward as the S2, so.
He's talking about what he's going to do on the right lane.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's right, a lot of frames left.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying it well. Just...
Meantime, 4 for 4 for Svensson to start this second game.
This is a beauty right here for the Iceman. Some call it a 4-bagger. Some call it a ham something. It's not a ham sand. What was it? Ham bone or something like that? I like 4-bagger. Now he's looking for 5. And a 52-pin lead halfway through game 2.
Oh. That is complete devastation.
Jesper Svensson, runner-up last season to Kroll.
Just trust it.
Looking to get back there once again.
Just the next game.
If this doesn't strike, I don't think Chris has a chance to win this game.
That's a big one for Vi to give him a little bit of pulse.
Come on.
Just a little jolt of electricity for Chris.
4 deeper on the right lane with the ball change. And maybe because of that move, increasing his angle a bit more, maybe now he's going to be, it may be a little bit easier for him to get it over to that spot.
That was almost a screaming disaster with the 7-10.
Good shot.
Chris is running the 2 problems. He's not as sharp as he needs to be, and his opponent is 5 for 5 in the strike department. Well, through 5.5, Jesper Svensson's moving closer as Chris Via is still working out the kinks. But he doesn't have many frames left as Jesper is sharp in game number 2, already leading 1-0. And a reminder, our coverage of the 2025 PBA Playoffs concludes with a championship match race to 3 points. Saturday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, live on Fox, right here from Thunderbowl Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. We'll take a look at the 2024 playoffs in Kissimmee in Central Florida. Boog Kroll won his 2nd career PBA title on a 9/10 frame roll-off against that guy right there.
Do you notice the difference in the dew?
For
Jesper. He was sporting a completely different dew
Yeah,
last
you're
year.
right. I didn't catch that.
You'd like to catch this one. How about a 6-pack for the Iceman? Ice cold. Somebody's gotten comfy. Somebody's gotten real comfortable. And when that happens at this level, the execution starts to go up. .62-pin lead. Oh my God!
Well, if there's ever a good time for that to happen,
there's never a good time to see that. Oh my God, that's disgusting. That is awful.
There goes the ball.
Look at how, I mean, it's just perfect. Perfect. Oh. Nice shot, Jesper.
You know, he sits down, still leading by 61.
I wanted to see 300, Dave.
Yeah, and I really thought after those first 6 shots, you started to think that was a possibility. And then that 7th shot, and you're looking at it, and right at that blink of a moment there, that, oh, yeah, let's go. Oh, no, it's not.
Hates it.
Yeah, the slump shoulders gave it away. It's just not there. This is a little bit actually
just locked up. He's just locked up.
This looks like what he watched with Jason Belmonte last week when Belmo had a very similar game in that 2nd-point game where he just couldn't get it to go his way.
It was actually kind of the polar opposite in terms of reaction. Jason would get it to the right and it never hooked. Looking more and more like it's going to be a Jesper Svensson, EJ Tackett showdown for $100 grand.
Come on.
Neither EJ nor Jesper have won the PBA playoffs.
And also looks like it's going to be the highest game for a southpaw here at the playoffs. Good shot, Chris. Good shot. He's a fighter. He's not a quitter. But unfortunately, there's not enough frames to catch the Iceman. You talk about the left side of the lane. It's so feast or famine on the PBA Tour because of the oil patterns, right?
Right.
I mean, some weeks they have 0 on that side of the lane. Some weeks it's pretty nice.
Well, USBC Masters, we had a bunch of lefties in the show. And I thought he might get some little gang up on that 3-pin there.
Some weeks they have an advantage. Take, for example, the Tournament of Champions where the left-handers did very nicely. But the week prior to that, they had nothing.
Oh, major shutout.
But
Yeah.
you look at players like Graham Faw, Jesper Svensson, Jacob Butcher. These guys are fighters. And even if they don't have it one week, they keep it together because they know that the next week could be their week, and they have to be prepared and ready to take advantage of it. That's why Graham Faw was your number 4 on the point list this season. That's why Jesper Svensson was number 7 by virtue of winning the Tournament of Champions. Jacob Butcher fighting his way back from a miserable 2024. You never know when you're going to get the chones on that side of the lane. You have to be ready for it.
Well, this is Jesper's biggest game by a mile and a half here in the 2025 PBA playoffs. There we go. And it is over.
Yeah.
Jesper Svensson has earned a second straight finals berth in the PBA playoffs. This time his opponent will be EJ Tackett.
How about Jesper Svensson? He could possibly go back-to-back tournaments winning 100 grand. That's cool, $200,000 in 2
I like
events.
it, yeah. Buy his young daughter some nice
Add another
toys.
one to it.
Well, Chris Via on Mother's Day was able to give his mom a wonderful gift by winning and getting into the semifinals. A week after Mother's Day, Ms. Via is here and gets to at least spend some quality time with her son, but he didn't get any quality time in this match with the Lanes. It just wasn't there for Chris. There's the family right there. Angie and Craig.
EJ Tackett's had a couple of 250 games in his matches. Jesper Svensson with a strike in the 10th will be in the 250s, by far his highest game of the playoffs. This is going to be an absolute barn burner for the 2025 playoffs. And there's EJ right there watching the whole thing.
Yep.
Think I got it?
Southpaw versus right-hander once again.
One-hander versus two-hander.
One-hander versus two. It doesn't get any better.
Yep, Jesper Svensson really had to fight his way through the first 2 matches to get to this point. And this one was finally a little bit easier for him. He bowled beautifully.
Even the solid 9s couldn't stop him today.
No, and he had a couple of them.
Yep.
Of course he did. But Jesper Svensson is your winner and is on to the 2025 PBA Playoffs Finals.
Great bowling, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Best of luck to you in the finals. Thank you very much. All right, bring it home for us. All right, thank you. Yeah.
So both of our matches were sweeps. EJ Tackett coming up with the sweep of Graham Fav, and Jesper Svensson taking out Chris Via in 2 straight. And the race for 2 was a sprint to 2 today. So there it is. We're all set. Saturday, 2:30 Eastern on Fox Live. EJ Tackett versus Jesper Svensson. And Jesper standing by with Kimberly.
Jesper, the past few weeks we've talked about you trying to get comfortable on this pair. Game 1, it looked like you were still trying to figure that out, and then game 2 happened, and something clearly changed. You got comfortable, started out with the front 6. What was that?
Well, I made a little bit of an adjustment on the longer pattern. Rob came in clutch for me there, so you know, see the ball do the right thing normally helps to get comfortable. And yeah, I mean, I feel like we both kind of struggle with the carry, but yeah, I finally got a good game on the board, so perfect.
As you head into the finals for a 2nd year on the road, you are now taking on EJ Tackett for $100,000. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, to be the best, you got to beat the best. So EJ is the best right now. So yeah, I'm going to try to take him down too and keep this mojo going. It's pretty good right now.
Congratulations on advancing. You got a board to sign right over there.
Well, Randy, everyone's always happy to talk to Kimberly. That means they won.
Yeah.
And so we just saw Jesper talk. Of course, EJ Tackett got a chance earlier. And let's not forget about him, because we saw him earlier bowl, I'd say, very controlled in defeating Graham Fav.
Yeah, he was on fire to start and never looked back as he took down Graham Fav in 2 straight. Starting in that opener, he started with the front 4. Had that open frame in the 5th, and it was 5 right behind it for 250, and that was good enough to win. Graham Fav under 200 with 193. Game 2, well, this one got a little bit closer, got interesting, but Tackett prevailed, doubled in the 10th to shoot 210 to Graham Fav's 190.
And then match number 2, Chris Via versus Jesper Svensson. And Jesper, he also had a hot start at time.
Well, Svensson got through game 1 by staying clean. He didn't have an open frame, only managed 202. 3 splits, or excuse me, 2 open frames and 2 splits for Chris Via. He could only muster 186, but in game 2, it was all the Iceman. Started with the front 6, ended up with 248, and this is going to be a hell of a title match between Tackett and Svensson.
Yeah, we got a few days to think about it between today and Saturday, but how do you forecast that righty-lefty 1 versus 2 matchup?
I think, based on what Jesper did today, he has a much better chance now, because I think he found a way to shoot a big score, and we saw that in the last game when he shot 248. Could have been a ton higher. Remember the solid 9, a 7-pin in the 10th frame. Tackett's already got a couple of 250s under his belt. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Well, this will be a first-time victory in this event for either one of these 2 great players. We can't wait to bring it to you on Saturday at 2:30 Eastern. And that coverage will continue. The championship match between these 2, the race to 3 points, Saturday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, live on Fox, right here from Thunderbowl, the great Strobel Arena in Allen Park, Michigan. Coming up next, it is NHRA Chicago. For Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, and the best crew anyone will ever get to work with, I'm Dave Lamont. We thank you for watching the 2025 PBA Playoffs on FS1.